I know that I will need protection until I die.
Right.
I've no idea how long that will be. None of us do. But I know that it's damned expensive, and I now don't have to worry or even think about that, because repeatedly over the years, when I've asked for help...
This is where Nigel Farage's explanation starts to get complicated. He insists the £5 million gift was unconditional, yet when pressed on its purpose, he points directly to the cost of his lifelong personal security. If you enjoy our breakdown, help us reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Every subscription takes us one step closer. And that immediately raises the question Nick Ferrari was trying to pin down. If Farage can spend the money however he wants, why describe personal security as the reason it was given?
To ask you a question about this £5 million gift from this crypto billionaire. You know better than most politicians how LBC works. I'm getting comments as you and I are speaking. This man needs to tell us, what has he done with the £5 million? Get him to be truthful. Nigel Farage, please, what has happened to this £5 million gift?
With all due respect, what's it got to do with you?
Well, because it speaks to the position you hold in office. Initially, we were told that it was because of your personal security and it would pay for that for the rest of your life. Then apparently It was some kind of reward for campaigning for Brexit. I am told we have two different stories. Which is the truth?
Well, I think you're contradicting yourself there, aren't you?
Well, if you tell me what happened with the £5 million, then we're solved.
It's an unconditional gift. I can spend it on Ferraris if I want. That'd be entirely up to me.
Why did you say it was for personal security then?
Because it was given as an unconditional gift, right? The understanding is, and you know very well, I've been physically more attacked over many years than any other
I've been with you when you've been abused. I've seen that. But my listeners want to know, Mr. Farage, how much has been spent?
Nick, I can do with it as I want. I can do what I want with it. Well, I can put it on the horses.
Yes, you are under review, though, by the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner.
Well, and maybe we shouldn't be discussing it in that case. But what I will say to you is, I know that I will need protection until I die.
Right.
I've no idea how long that will be. None of us do. But I know that it's damned expensive, and I now don't have to worry or even think about that, because repeatedly over the years, when I've asked for help from the state, I've been refused.
So it was a reward for personal security?
Sorry, Nick, you're confusing two things. One is the money comes in, the other is where it goes, right? I can do with it as I wish, but I know myself what it's for.
How much has been spent?
I bought a cup of coffee this morning. Was that from that money or from what I earned from GB News? Or these are ridiculous questions.
But do you not, I remind you, you used to sit in this very chair. Listeners are concerned about the probity here.
Well, the probity would be if it was a political donation. Right? If it's personal.
No, I know it was in a personal capacity. I want to make plain you were not an MP when funds were received.
Exactly.
Has it, as some newspapers have suggested, been used to purchase property?
No. I mean, and look, they can lie all they like. As I say, if I'm seen buying a round of drinks in a pub, they will say it came from that. It's irrelevant.
So just lastly, it's not bought a property, it's not done renovations on property. It will only ever be spent because of the campaigning you did, which resulted in the vote 10 years ago today. You have concerns over your personal security for the rest of your days.
I do, and as for the property thing, that was completed. That was agreed, and the money was checked well before. But look, Nick. But as I say, this is ridiculous because you can ask me this for the next 10 years. You know, as I say, you bought a round of drinks. Where did that money come from? It isn't like that, is it?
Well, no, but I mean, if you just came out and said, you're saying now that there's nothing to see here as regards purchase of houses, renovations of houses, we can finally put this to bed.
And even if there was, it would be irrelevant.
But you did have two stories.
No, there are not two stories. One is I was given the money unconditionally. I believe it was a reward for giving up a quarter of a century of my life, giving up a huge income in the City of London, putting up with lots of abuse. I believe that was the motive. Whether it was or not, that is that side of the equation. The other side of the equation is what I intend to do with it. I've made that perfectly clear.
Right. Okay. But Andrew, what do you take from that? Good morning.
With regards to Farage, I am a Farage supporter, but I don't like the way that he is avoiding the questions on where the £5 million went.
What do you need to hear from him? Because initially he told me it was none of his business, and then I spoke to him, told him it speaks to his very credibility as a senior politician. What do you need to hear from him now?
A straightforward answer, which he normally gives, which is his trait. He is avoiding the question. He is moving the question around, and I don't like that. Any other questions you ask him, he has direct answers for, except that.
All right. Andrew, thank you for your view on the two men. Ian in Waterloo. Ian, your take on either one of the two, whoever you want to go for first. Good morning.
Morning, Nick. Yeah, Andrew's completely right. Obfuscation, changing the subject, answering a different question. Classic Farage. Also, he seems to have developed some sort of chuckle every time he tells a porky, a little bit like when Boris Johnson used to smirk just before he told one. This fella is nothing, like I said to you the other day, Nick, nothing but a fake and a fraud. And the sooner he's exposed for what he is, the better.
And this is where the contradiction becomes difficult to ignore. Farage says the £5 million was completely unconditional, money he could spend on Ferraris or horses if he wanted. Yet, when Nick Ferrari presses him on why he received it, Farage gives a very specific explanation: lifelong personal security. Those 2 points can technically coexist, but they create an obvious question about the story surrounding the gift. If the money was genuinely unconditional, why repeatedly frame personal security as the reason behind it? There is also an important distinction here. Farage is right that a personal gift is not automatically the same thing as a political donation, and that distinction matters when discussing parliamentary rules. But that doesn't completely answer the separate question of what the money was understood to be for, or why different explanations have emerged around it. Then there's the property question. Farage denies using the money to purchase property, but immediately adds that even if he had, it would be irrelevant. That's a noticeable shift, from simply denying the claim to arguing that the claim wouldn't matter anyway. And perhaps most revealing is the reaction from one of his own supporters, who openly says Farage is avoiding the question. That doesn't prove wrongdoing, but it does show why this exchange has raised questions about transparency and credibility. With the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner review still unresolved, the sensible conclusion is not to prejudge the outcome, but neither is it unreasonable to keep asking questions. Because when a politician offers several explanations for a £5 million gift, the public is entitled to ask for a clear one. And that's exactly what Nick Ferrari kept asking for.